today, so lots of space. You can move a little bit if you want some more space because there's not so many people, but if you're happy there, that's fine. I will take this off so I can hit my microphone. So today's class is beginners, so I'm going to break down things a little bit more than I would in a normal class, but I've seen you all before. I know you guys have been practicing, so we can also have a little bit more fun with it too. I'm going to be focusing on, I guess in the yoga theme would be Ahimsa. So this is, does anyone know or have heard of the words Ahimsa before? It means non-violence or non-harm. So Himsa means violence and Ahimsa means non-violence. And when you do your yoga training, they go through these guidelines, which Eve, you might remember from the course, the beginner's course. I think you did that, didn't you? Or someone did. Who did that? Maybe you, Sarah. Did you do the beginner's course with me? Was that you? Yeah, the workshop. Yeah, I can't remember who did it. So if when we go around the guidelines of yoga, Ahimsa is non-violence, which a lot of yogis are vegetarian or vegan. It's around the non-harming of other animals and people, but in a way that's kind of more digestible to modern people that may not want to do to that level. It's also around your thoughts, so your thoughts in your own mind about yourself, but also around other people. So it starts inside and then you take it out into the world, and it's sort of how do you talk to people? Do you gossip about people? Do you say things that are hurtful to others, or do you say things that are hurtful to yourself in your own mind? So it's this whole concept of, non-harm, which to me was my biggest learning in yoga, was my dialogue to myself, which once you know what it is, you can start to rewire your mind a little bit to be less harmful to yourself. So maybe that means something to you, maybe it doesn't, but in any case, today we'll be kind of working with that so you can be gentle with yourself in your practice. It will be challenging, and I'll give options, so just take the option that feels best for you today. All right, we'll start on our backs on the floor. And I like to bring my knees in together and feet wide, so it's a little teepee. And place your hands on your ribs, elbows on the floor, and just start to take some big breaths. And see if by connecting to your ribs, by having your hands there, you can start to feel your breath. Be mindful if your belly is not rising gently with the inhale. And see if you can take that breath a little deeper into the abdomen as well. We breathe deep into the abdomen. We're using our diaphragm. It tells our body that we are safe and we can relax. We'll do a few breath counts together. We'll inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 5. Exhale for 5. Inhale for 6. Exhale for 6. And then follow your own tempo. You might want to take some pauses at the top of your inhale and at the bottom of your exhale. And just bring an observation to how you feel now. Do you feel more relaxed? Can you release a few more muscles in the shoulders and the face? Can you create space between the teeth and let the jaw gently fall back? And then start to windscreen wipe those knees from side to side. Open your eyes, and we'll start with some core work to wake up the core before we move into our practice, so we have a safe and strong practice. So interlace the fingers behind neck and head, and I'd like you to flare your ribs and round through your back. So you're coming into a back bend for a second, and this is what I want you to avoid. I want you to tilt your tailbone and have your lower back flush with the mat. So that lower back does not leave the mat. And I'd like you to tilt your tailbone and push your lower back into the floor. Elbows up to the roof, inhale, and exhale to come up. If you have a sensitive neck, stay here. Try to lift both shoulders up, come a little higher, maybe touch your knees if your neck is happy. Hands back behind the head, inhale, lower. Exhale to come up. Tap the knees if that feels okay for you. Hands back behind the head, inhale, lower down. Exhale, we have 3 more. Touch the knees, hands behind the head, inhale, lower. Exhale to come up, tap the knees, inhale, lower. Staying down, taking a breath, maybe windscreen wiping the knees from side to side. This just tractions out through the spine. So level 2, bring your hands back behind neck and head. Take a breath in and exhale to come up. Now try and lift those shoulders up a little more, push the lower back into the floor, and maybe lift the feet up and point the toes. Hold, lower the feet, lower the head, inhale. Exhale to come up, maybe lift the feet. Don't pull the neck, just have the hands there to support the weight of the head. Lower the feet, lower the head, breath in. Exhale, come up. We've got 3 more. Point the toes, maybe bring the feet up. If that doesn't feel good, keep the feet on the floor. Inhale, lower. Exhale to rise. Maybe lift the feet. Lift your both shoulders up a little higher off the floor. Lower feet down, breath in. Come down. Last one. Exhale, rise. Maybe lift the feet. Last version, you may be able to straighten the legs for the last one. Exhale, bend the knees and lower down. Windscreen wipe the legs. So let them both fall to one side and then the other. The next option, I'd like you to keep your feet on the floor. If you've been practicing with me for a while, you can also do this with raising your feet up. But if you are a beginner, please do it with your feet on the floor. Hands behind neck and head, breath in. Exhale to come up. Reach the right hand tall, up over the head. Try and lift both shoulders up off the floor. And then exhale, reach over the head with that arm. Really starts to engage that core. Inhale back to center, hand behind neck and head. Exhale, inhale down. Whew. Take a breath in to prepare. Exhale to crunch up. Left hand reaches up towards the top of the wall and then over the top of the head. Lift both shoulders up off the floor if you can. Inhale back to center. Exhale, hand behind neck and head. Inhale down. 1 more each side. Exhale to rise up. Lift the right hand up towards the top of the roof and take the hand out to the side. So just take it gently out to the side if it's too much. If you want more of a challenge, you can lower it further. Now, if you're resting both shoulders on the mat, you lift them up. Will make this much harder. Inhale back to center. Lower the hand and then lower the head. Breath out. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to crunch. Left hand this time, reaching up towards the roof, and then see if both shoulders are off the floor. Then start to open to the side. Oh my God. Inhale back to center and exhale to come down. Oh, the second time that hurts a lot more. Windscreen wipe those knees from side to side. Have a little rock and roll if it feels good. So rolling forward and back. We'll come onto hands and knees. So cat-cows, we'll have a few of those to warm up the spine. So inhale, belly drops, tilt tailbone to roof, gaze up. So that's going to feel awesome for your core too after we've just done core work. Exhale, push the floor away, protract through shoulders, look between the knees. And take a few more of these in your own pace. So maybe slow it down. Or if you want to make it a little faster, please do. Coming back to neutral spine when you're ready. We're going to lift the left hand up and the right knee. Hover. And then start to extend out to the front of the mat. So flex that back foot, and rather than getting height, you want to get length. So bring it down, tilt the tailbone and bring the ribs in. So rather than this, which is a back bend, I'd like you to suck everything in and try and get length, bringing chin to chest. And engage that right glute, really nice. Exhale, we're going to bend the elbow and the knee out to the sides. Hold. Inhale back to center, lengthen, and exhale to come down. Other side. So lifting the right hand and the left knee. So tilt tailbone, bring ribs in, and then reach long. Flex the back foot. Chin to chest, check if you have a back bend. Really engage that glute and even out the hips if you're twisting in the hips. Exhale, bend the elbow and the knees out to the side. Flex the foot, hold for a moment. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale down. Really nice. Cat-cow. Breath in, drop belly, gaze up. Push the floor away. Cat. Walk hands out, untuck the back toes, push up and back into our first downward facing dog. And pedal through the legs. So bend one knee and then straighten the other. And there's no need to have dead straight legs here. So what's really a great way to check your down dog is come into a plank pose and your shoulders should be over your wrists. If you need to move your hands, it means your down dog can be a little wider. And then push back into your downward facing dog. I like to have my feet quite wide because my hips are quite tight. Also having your hands wide and wrapping your shoulder blades around your armpits so that your shoulders are not up near your ears is also really effective. Try bending your knees and getting more of your weight into your legs rather than your wrists, which will also support any wrist pain. So have a look at the difference when when my weight is in my wrists, my down dog looks like this. When I push back and bend through the knees, my back is straight, but my weight is in my legs. So there's less compression in my wrist. So have a little play with that and see if you can feel that shift. Look between the hands, take little steps and walk your feet up towards your hands. Fold over your thighs, breath out. Bend your knees as much as you need to get your chest on your quads. So even if you have to bend them a lot, that's fine. If you want to have a play, then reaching behind you onto your ankles and starting to play with straightening one leg and then the other, or trying to straighten both legs gently. But the goal is to more have your chest towards your thighs first. Inhale, walk your hands out flat back. Exhale, fold. Bring your hands behind your neck and head, interlaced, and gently let your head fall over your thighs. So this is tractioning out through the back of the neck. So gentle weight. So let your head and neck be really heavy. If it doesn't feel good, then don't do it. Releasing the hands, bending through the knees a lot and slowly rolling up, stacking the vertebra. Hands come up through heart center, breath in, reach tall, and exhale, hands to heart. So with our Tadasana, or our mountain pose, if you have your feet nice and wide so you feel secure, That's a nice place to start. You can have your hands out. This is the traditional mountain pose. So a few cues is the chin is in, and if you find you're really opening through the chest, try to bring the ribs in, tilt the tailbone, and be nice and strong through your mountain pose, like a mountain, so someone couldn't push you over if they tried. Hands come back to heart. Inhale, reach tall. Again, rather than flaring into the ribs into a back bend, we're going to squeeze the glutes and tilt the tailbone and ribs in to be strong. Exhale, bend through the knees and slowly come down. Inhale, halfway. So I like to place my hands onto my shin and extend my spine forward with chin to chest. So often what people start to do with these is they do a bit of a back bend or something like this. So just try lengthening through the chest so the spine is nice and strong and straight. Yeah, good. Exhale, fold forward. Step back into plank. We'll have a little play with plank. So protract through shoulders, which means push against the floor. So you're rounding through that upper back. So your shoulder blades or your scapula is engaged. Push your heels towards the back of the room. Engage your glutes. Bring your glutes down a little bit more, Sarah. Yeah, perfect. Up a little bit. Yep. Tilt your tailbone, squeeze the booty. Imagine your chest is moving towards in between your hands while your heels are moving towards the back of the room. And for this one, Eve, you can actually have your hands stacked under your wrists and elbows. It'll make it a lot stronger for you in your plank. Now from here, lower the knees. Tilt tailbone, squeeze glutes. Bring the weight forward so that, yeah, beautiful. Now we're going to make the eye of the elbow goes towards the front of the room. Bend the elbows and come down slowly, really slow. So you're really having to work here. And your shoulders are not bunched around up near your ears, but they're back. Slowly coming down like a tricep push-up. It gets quite hard. All the way to the floor. Breath out. Inhale to baby cobra. So we roll the shoulders back, chin to chest. Push the tops of the feet into the floor. Maybe lift the hands. Really engaging through the back. Exhale, hands to floor. Untuck the toes. Push up and back. Downward facing dog. Maybe give the head a little nod or a shake to release through the neck. Pedal out the legs to feel into those hamstrings that often can be quite tight. Down dog is a really awesome pose to get into those hamstrings early in the class. Look between the hands and gently walk up, or if you can step up, you can do that as well. Fold over the thighs, breath out. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, bend through the knees and slowly roll up. Coming back to mountain pose. Reach hands tall, breath in. Strong through glutes, no back bend. And exhale to fold. When we fold, you tilt from the hips so that your glutes are working too. And you fold through to allow without the compression or without the tension in the lower back. Inhale to halfway. And I'll show you what I mean by this. In a lot of yoga classes, they will do a vinyasa like this. Straight back, or if you know about hinges, this is where all my pressure is if I do it this way. And I pull myself up without using my glutes, and this is getting a lot of pressure. Then they go up, and then they come down with straight legs, which I can feel all my lower back really actually hurting quite a bit there. So if you want to make it a bit more therapeutic, just bend the knees and fold. And it's almost like a ripple as you come up to your halfway lift. It's just biomechanics of the body. We don't want to hurt our lower backs. So hands up to sky, bend through the knees and fold forward. Inhale to halfway and exhale, hands down. Step back to plank. Moving through your chaturanga. So I would recommend it as a beginner's class on your knees. If you've been doing a lot of classes with me, you can have a full plank. Come forward, elbows in, wrap them in tight. Don't rush it. Squeeze the glutes, come down. You can bring your hands in a little closer for this one if you want, Eve. Yeah, and elbows to the sides. You'll start to shake. It's like a tricep push-up. Inhale, up dog. roll shoulders back, squeeze the glutes. And the more you squeeze the glutes and squeeze the thighs, eventually, not in today's class, but you might be able to lift the thighs up. Tuck the back toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, reach that right leg tall, three-legged dog. So with this one, we're trying to get length. So flex the foot so the toes go towards the shin, beautiful. And rather than height, we're looking for length. So imagine that line from your front left wrist to your back heel, your back right heel. Exhale, bend the knee and sweep it through between the hands. Get low through the legs and come up into crescent lunge. Crescent lunge, the hips are square. We're going to come deep into the hips. If this doesn't feel nice through your front quad, bend the knee. This just makes it less stressful for your hip flexors. Your back heel, ball of the foot is on the floor and your heel is up. Hands up. Exhale, hands down. Step back and flow. Option knees onto the floor, high to low plank. Really use those triceps. Inhale to up dog, roll shoulders back, squeeze the booty. And exhale, downward facing dog. Pedal through legs, take a breath. Inhale, left leg rises high. Exhale, sweep between hands. Plant the foot, get long through the chest first and strong through the legs. Rise up into crescent lunge. So with crescent lunge, you can bend that back knee or work into the flexibility of your front hip flexor. Yeah, beautiful. Bring your heel up a little more off the floor. Yep, or come a little lower. Hands to floor. Step back and flow. High to low plank. Knees on the floor. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Open that chest. Rather than what's really normal when we start is people will have their shoulders rotating forward rather than opening. Tuck toes. Push up and back. Downward facing dog. When I say most people, I mean that's what I used to do when I started yoga because you don't know until someone shows you. Inhale, reach that right leg tall and exhale, step between hands. So with our crescent lunge, we're not going to rush it. Let's stay here. Have your feet on train tracks. So if you have one behind the other, step it out a little bit. Tickle the mat with your fingers. Push through your front heel and come up slow. So use the strength rather than momentum to rise up. Hands rise. Just check your back again. Are you opening, coming into a back bend? I'd like you to bring your ribs in and tilt your tailbone. Nice. And exhale into warrior two. So we plant that back foot down. You might need to shift your feet a little bit. The front heel is in line with the instep of the back foot. The reason we do this is because it's a hip opener. So both of your femur bones are externally rotating. Check your front knee is in line with your ankle. And gaze to front middle finger. Lift your shoulders up towards your ears and exhale, let them go. Come a little deeper into that front knee. Watch your front knee is not going in towards your big toe, but it's actually going out towards the side. So Emily, yours is a little bit this way. Yeah. Exhale, hands towards the floor. Step back and flow. Drop the knees high to low. Inhale to up dog. And exhale to downward facing dog. Pedal through legs, take a breath. Left leg rises, breath in. Breath out, step between hands. Get strong through the legs, we'll go up slow. Get your train tracks, push through your right heel towards the back of the room. Elongate through the crown of the head. Tickle the mat with your fingers, push through your front left heel and slowly come up. Tilt your tailbone, ribs in. Slowly stack the vertebra. Hands up. So much harder when we do it with muscle strength rather than momentum. Check your ribs. Get a little lower. Exhale, warrior two. We place the back heel down. Sometimes I have to assist myself in warrior two because I have tight hips. And what I do is I gently rotate my front thigh and take it forward. Because my hips are tight, they often come in. I know I can't touch people, but I want to move your knee more towards your pinky toe. So straighten your foot. Yeah, but so rather than the knee coming in, I want to just encourage it to be stacked over the ankle. Oops, what am I doing? Exhale, hands down, step back, knees to floor, chaturanga. Inhale to come up, and exhale, down dog. Let's add a couple more poses onto that sequence. Inhale the right leg tall. Breath out, step between hands. Breath in, rise up into crescent lunge, a little faster this time. Exhale into warrior two. Flip the front palm, reach forward, reverse warrior. So like we're painting the ceiling, reach tall and back. So chin to chest, just release the neck. You don't have to look towards that top hand. Keep that front bend in the front knee. I like to traction out my back. So left hand onto the left hip and push it down gently. Gives you more space. Exhale into extended side angle. So rest the quad onto the knee. Reach the left hand tall. Now here, check your hips. If your booty's sticking out, can you bring it in so it's closer in between your feet? Can you get a little wider in the feet? So make a wide stance so that you're bent a lot into that front knee. Can you lift that front elbow off your thigh and hold it with strength? Take another breath. Exhale, lower that hand down to the floor. Chin to chest, stay in flexibility, keeping that top arm up. Exhale, hands come down to frame the front foot. Step back into a plank. Place the right hand into the center of the mat, and we rotate over to the side plank. So as beginners, I'd like you to have your elbow on the floor and your knee on the floor, and then raise the top leg. If you've been in my class for a while, you can do a full plank. A full plank looks like this. Stevie's doing it in the back if you're And here we're going to flex that top leg, and we'll do 5 pulses to the roof. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming down into a 4-round plank with the knees on the floor. Staying here. We will do a scapular slide, which looks like this. So the chest sinks down towards the mat, breath out, and then we push up and protract up. It's a very subtle movement, but it uses a very important muscle in yoga called the serratus anterior. So chest down, let you sink forward, and then push up. It's really effective to put your knees on the floor to support the rest of your weight. We'll do a few more of these. And it may not feel like it's doing much, but it's a very small muscle that does a lot to stabilize your entire shoulder. Let's do one more. So lower down and push into the floor. Release the hands and push back into child's pose. Take a breath. Any point in the class, if you need a little break, you can come into this pose and just have a little chill time. If you're feeling ready to come back for the other side, you can gently push into the floor and come back into a downward facing dog. Look between the feet, chin towards chest to grow long through the neck. Have a little play with pedaling the legs out, maybe shake the head yes and no. Inhale, lifting that left leg tall. Breath out, step between hands. We go a little faster for the first 2. Inhale to rise up, crescent lunge. And exhale, warrior 2. Reach forward, flip the front palm. Imagine someone's pulling your wrist forward and then up. Maybe a back traction for a bit of extra space. We're rotating the shoulder, so it's rotated in the socket. It's not going externally rotated. Relax neck and head. Keep that bend in that front knee. It tends to want to straighten. Exhale, come through extended side angle, resting that left elbow on left quad. Reaching tall through the top arm. Breathe. Bring the hips in between the feet to open through the hips. Can you lift that shoulder, that left shoulder off the thigh and hover it? Using that strength. One more breath. Exhale, lower the left hand to the floor, staying in your flexibility for a couple more breaths. Keeping deep bend in that front knee. Relax neck and head. You can just gaze towards the floor. Exhale, hands come down to frame the foot. Step back into plank. Bring the left hand into the center of the mat and open up towards the right. So as a beginner, I would recommend on elbow and on the knee. And then bring the right leg up off the floor and flex the toe. Let's change sides. And then from here, you can reach tall. We'll do 5 pulses. So we're taking the heel up towards the roof. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it. And then exhale, lower it down. And we'll just come through a high to low plank. High to low. Breath in, upward dog. Roll the shoulders back. And breath out, down dog. So one thing you'll notice, which you might think is different to some classes, is in our yoga, the neck is always relaxed. So rather than, if you're in an extended side angle, traditionally you would look up to the top hand, which, I mean, it's not necessarily bad. It's just if you have very tight neck, it can cause a lot of tension. So if you just relax the head, it is much kinder to your neck. Nobody needs more compression in their neck. And then we'll come into a child's pose when you're ready. Take a couple of breaths. Pushing up into your hands as you come through a tabletop position into a down dog. Or you're welcome to stay a little longer in child's pose if you want to. Look between your hands and walk your feet up between your hands. Sweep hands behind you, breath in, and exhale, come into chair. So with our chair, we're going to tilt our tailbone and ribs it in. So what can happen is a lot of this in yoga when we start, which is a lot of dumping into the back. So tilting the tailbone, you can come a little lower if you want. Some yoga practices do this. Or you can come a little higher. You can squeeze your legs together or have them wide, whatever feels better to your body. I like to have them together because I squeeze my legs. It gets a bit more strength going. Wrap your shoulders, beautiful. This is great. So you don't need to have your shoulders really stressed out. They can just be in the sockets. And exhale to fold forward. Inhale halfway. And exhale, we jump or step back, Lower the knees, chaturanga, high to low. Breath in to come up. And breath out, down dog. Look between hands, walk the feet up. Sweep hands behind you, breath in. Exhale, come into chair. Little challenge. Can you come up onto your tippy toes? Maybe step your feet a little wider for this one. And can you come down on your tippy toes? Hands can come forward, palms facing towards the mat. Just a challenge. Exhale, lower the heels. Start to straighten. Fold forward, sweep hands behind you. And exhale, eagle. Exhale into chair. And then we'll come into eagle. So the right leg comes over and the right arm comes under. So when you're starting out, you can have your foot on the opposite side just touching the floor, if that's better for you. If you can, you don't need to have to get the foot twisted around. It could just be hanging out to the side. The elbows are up off the chest. Bring them towards me. Come a little deeper. Keep breathing. And exhale, gently release. Walking from side to side. Tree pose. So bringing the foot on either the ankle, the calf, or the upper thigh, and the knee out to the side. Hands to the heart. And find that point of focus or your drishti that isn't moving. You find that stillness. Relax the shoulders back and down. Beautiful holding. Then exhale, releasing the foot down. Walk your legs out a little. Fold forward, sweep hands behind you, breath in. Exhale, coming up into chair. Left leg over, left arm under, eagle pose. So again, you can just pop your toes onto the side of the mat to support you if it's a little much to bring it up off the floor. And if you want to take it a little further, you can eventually maybe get the foot hooked around. And if you fall out, just come straight back in, it's fine. Hold for a couple of breaths. Come a little deeper into the legs to challenge yourself. Really nice. Last breath. And exhale, gently releasing, walking the legs out for a moment. Tree pose. So bringing the left foot either at the ankle, the calf, or the upper leg, just not resting on the knee. Hands to the hearts. Find that sense of balance. Some days are harder than others. Maybe you want to change your hand position, so your tree might want to grow some branches or do a different hand position. It's up to you. Stay with me for one more breath. And exhale, releasing the legs. Coming into dancer pose. So we'll do like a small dancer, and some of you who've been with me for a while, you guys will probably be fine doing a full dancer. But if you grab the instep of your back foot, so knees are together first. And from here, what's most important is you kick back with your leg first, your strength. Reach your left hand tall, and then start to tilt forward, being really gentle with this opener. So the more you kick against your arm, the more of an opening you'll get through that front chest. As a beginner, I'd recommend you try to keep your hips square towards the floor and reach forward. It takes more strength, and it's also more controlled with less of a back bend. Hold for one more breath. Exhale, come out with control, knees together, lower the leg, and we'll do the other side. Good job. Balance some days are just so, like, you're thrown off, and then other days you're amazing. It's really funny. So ground through that right leg this time. We're going to bring that left foot in. So you take the foot from the inside. Knees are together. Reach the right hand nice and tall. You want to make sure you're feeling balanced first. So if you're feeling a bit wobbly, just take a few extra breaths here. Then kick back first with strength. Then tilt forward with the front body. See if rather than opening through the hips and the shoulder, you can keep them square, just to start off. If you want to come into the back bended version, you're rotating open. Just gazing towards the floor, to the top hand, for the last few breaths. And exhale, gently come out. Nice job, guys. Pedal the feet. Walk to the top of your mat. Inhale, reach tall. And exhale to fold. Inhale to flat back. And exhale, hands to floor. Step or jump. Step, I should say. I'm a beginner. Step back to your plank. Lower your knees to the floor. Reach forward through the chest, elbows in, and lower down with control. Breath in, upward facing dog. Breath out, downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your right leg tall. And exhale, sweep between the hands. Get into a nice low lunge here. We're going to lower that left knee to the floor. Maybe If that doesn't feel good, you can keep that back knee lifted if you have a knee injury and you don't want to do that. I recommend padding up the back knee if you do have any extra padding, or you can roll your mat over and use your mat as extra padding for this next part. Need to look after our knees. Lizard pose, walk the right foot over towards the right side of the mat. Maybe just stay on your hands, or you might have a little more flexibility to come onto your forearms. Release neck and head down. So here, just trying to let the head be floppy and relaxed. So this is the part of the class where you can let go and come into that real flexibility. Inhale, rising up onto your hands. We're coming into what's called flying dragon. So coming onto the blade edge of the right foot, bringing your right hand onto the inside of the thigh and gazing over your right shoulder. Keep a little micro bend in your left elbow to make sure you're not dumping and jarring through the shoulder and your elbow. Relax your left ear to left shoulder, keep the neck relaxed. Couple of breaths here. Exhale, come back to center, frame the front foot. So we'll come into half splits. So walk the hands back as we start to straighten that leg. You can come onto your back toes here and maybe take that front leg a little further forward, because sitting back, if you sit back really far, you won't feel as much through your hamstring. So just have a little play with what feels good. Might feel quite stiff actually, like it does for me. We're often either strong or flexible, and we prefer one or the other. So just be aware of what part of the class you enjoyed more than the other. Inhale, lengthen through chest, and exhale to fold. Being soft and kind with yourself at where you're at. Finding that ahimsa, or that non-violence to yourself and your mind and your body. Inhale, come back into a low lunge and lengthen through the spine, coming deep into the hips. Moving into half pigeon. So we're going to walk that foot over towards the left and bend the knee and gently come down. I recommend having a deep bend in the front knee and pointing the toe. If you've been practicing with me for a while, you can flex the foot and walk the foot a bit more parallel. But what's important is that your hips are straight. So rather than tilting down towards the right, the hips are straight. You can place a block under the right glute if you have one. And then from here, you can slowly start to walk the hands down. Maybe onto your elbows, or maybe your head rests on the floor. And allowing this time to really surrender to a pose that may be really challenging for you today. If there's any pain in the knee, please let me know. You should be feeling this in the glutes, so deep into the glute muscle. When you first start this pose, it can be really intense. And after a while, you start to really enjoy it. Taking one more big breath here. Slowly walk the hands up. Coming over onto your right glute and helping your left leg around towards the front. And straighten your right leg and we'll go into a forward fold. So I like to remove my glute muscles so that I'm on my sit bones, the bottom of your hips. Reach nice and tall. And then imagine you're hinging from the hips. So rather than rounding through the back, which is what people often think a forward fold is, the back is actually straight. So you're reaching tall. You can bend your knees a little bit too, and then fold forward. So the back is actually straight and the hips are what is tilting. And your hamstring attaches at the base of your hip. So your hip, by doing this movement, will stretch through the backs of the legs. Bring the chin into your chest to make that neck nice and long. Relax the shoulders a little. Inhale to come up a little bit, lengthen through chest, walk the fingers forward a little bit and exhale to fold a little further. Come onto the tips of your fingers and walk them in. Stack each vertebra on top of each other as you come up to a nice neutral spine. Put your hands behind your knees to bend your legs in. Cross your legs, hands forward and step back into plank. Lower the knees. Bring your chest forward and down. Come down, bend the elbows. Wrap your elbows so they're in towards your body like a tricep push-up and really control the movement. Inhale to upward facing dog. Take it slow and controlled. And exhale, tuck the toes, push up and back, downward facing dog. Pedal through legs, nod the head, release that neck. Inhale the left leg tall, or take a drink of water, that's a good choice. And exhale, step it between the hands. And lower that right knee down. Coming into lizard pose again. So walking that left foot out towards the side, to the left. And that might be it for you today, or you might be able to come onto your elbows. I'd recommend padding up the back knee if you have some padding, or just folding over your mats. And again, the head can be heavy. We spend a lot of time where the neck is in compression. So allowing that just to relax. We have these big muscles in the neck called the scalenes, which get extremely tight. And this is an opportunity to start to let those relax. Last breath out here. If you're on your elbows, walking your hands up. And we'll come to the blade edge of that right foot, coming into flying dragon. Left hand goes on the inside of the thigh and gently rotates that thigh open. Look over your left shoulder. Have a micro bend through that right elbow, so you're not dumping into the shoulder. You can even release your right ear to right shoulder to have more of a stretch through the neck. These are those scalene muscles. I don't know about you, but I can definitely feel them being tight on me. Gently bringing that foot down, come back to center. Place the hands around the foot, walk the foot in a little. Untuck the back toe, half split. So walking back and sitting into your splits. I need to shift my foot forward a little bit often when I come into this transition. And check out your hips. If your left hip is forward, encourage it back so that they're even. They shouldn't be twisted. When you're tight, your body will try to compensate. So it will twist the left hip forward and the right hip back. So if you encourage the right hip forward, you'll feel an even stretch. Inhale to lengthen through chest. Exhale to fold a little more. This is my good side. My other side's really tight. Inhale, come back into a deep lunge. Place the front foot on the floor. Half pigeon. Walking the foot over towards the right. Place the foot onto the knee onto the ground. And just check your back foot. What often happens is when your hips are tight, your foot might be on a funny angle. So just make sure the top of the foot's on the floor. Bend your knee a lot and point your toe to protect your knee. And then even your hips out if they're twisted. Then start to fold forward. And again, if there is any pain in the knee, you can do figure 4 on your back. So it's just rolling over and bringing your knee in, which is a slightly less aggressive or deep version of the half pigeon on the floor. So you always want to look after the knees. Remember to keep breathing. Can you release a little more? Can you soften between the eyebrows or the jaw? On the next exhale, can you release a little more in your shoulders, the tension? Let yourself surrender to the gravity. One more breath. Pushing up through the hands and slowly coming back up. Rolling onto your left glute and help your right leg around towards the front. We'll do one more forward fold. So get your hips ready, reach up tall, and then fold forward. You might find that you'll have a little bit more flexibility for the second round, or if not, just be gentle with yourself and practice Ahimsa, which is that non-violent thoughts. You're exactly where you need to be and you're honoring your body. Come onto the tips of fingers and slowly walk them up, stacking the vertebrae one on top of each other. Bring your hands behind your knees, bend your knees. We'll come down onto the floor. We're going to come down nice and slow, so open the chest and you can rotate the hands towards each other. And we're going to tilt the pelvis a lot and round through the back. And then from here, control coming down. So trying to not let the feet come off the floor and imagine each vertebra is pushing against the mat. Really starts to get quite tough. The more you tilt the tailbone and round through the back, the easier this gets. It's not really easy, but you know. And each vertebra comes in contact with the floor, helping you realign. And then head comes down last. Bridge pose. Tickle the backs of the heels, so bring the heels in until tips of fingers can tickle the backs of your heels. And from here, we start to extend the hips towards the roof. Interlace hands behind your back, push them into the floor, and maybe roll your shoulders under to open through the chest. Chin is towards the chest and we don't move the neck or head in this position. Check if your knees are going wide. See if you can, you guys are all doing pretty good actually. Good job. Push your heels into the floor and then drag them towards your body to engage through the hamstrings. Tilt your tailbone, engage your glutes. Keep breathing. We'll stay for another 3 breaths. Keep that engagement, tilting tailbone, squeezing glutes. Imagine there's a block between your quads and you're squeezing them together. Engage the legs. To come out, release the hands and slowly lower the upper back, middle back, and lower back to the floor. Windscreen wipe the legs from side to side, so lower both knees to one side and then to the other. Coming into a shoulder stand. If you're not sure about shoulder stand, you can watch me first. So we're going to bring the hips up. A great way is to just bring your hips over as much as you can over your head. Then you can start to walk your hands further down your back and straighten your legs up. So when you first start out, your shoulder stand's generally not very straight, and that's okay. Over time, you'll get it straighter. If you bend your knees, if you want to get a little more straight, bend your knees towards your face and then walk your hands a little bit further down your back, And trying to keep your elbows in. Otherwise, waterfall pose, that's a really good option, Sarah. Having your feet up towards the sky, but your back is on the floor. This is really releasing for the sacrum. Those of you who have your plow pose, who are in your shoulder stand, you can come into plow. Or just bend the knees and bring them towards the face like this. Quite a nice variation. To come out now, if you're in your shoulder stand, bring your hands down behind you like brakes, push against the floor and slowly roll down. Again, each vertebra at a time is aligning on the floor. Bend through the knees, place the feet on the floor, then slide them straight. Fish pose, so bring the hands underneath the glutes. What it looks like, what I'm doing is this. So my hands are going underneath my glutes. I'm rotating my shoulders open. So hands under the glutes, and then point the toes, look towards your toes, bend the elbows, and then the head can fall back. I don't really like the version where you put your top of your head on the floor because I find it quite damaging for the neck. This is a counter stretch for shoulder stand. To come out, gently bring your head to look towards your toes, straighten your legs, and come down. Supine twist. Bring your right knee into your chest, pull it in nice and tight. Exhale over the top of the body, twisting through that back. Inhale back to center. Straighten both legs. Exhale, left knee into chest, pull it up nice and tight. Feel that lower back in contact with the floor. And then exhale over the top of the body. Close the eyes and enjoy this twist. Inhale back to center. And maybe taking one last move. A happy baby is a really nice pose to finish the class. And will push your sacrum into the floor and help realign your spine if you're feeling a little tight. And then when you're ready, coming into your final resting pose, your Shavasana. And now giving yourself permission to completely relax. Slowly start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Bringing yourself back into your body and back into the room. Inhale, reaching your hands up over your head and stretching from tips of fingers to bottoms of toes. Exhale, knees into chest and give yourself a big hug. Congratulations for a great class, being kind to yourself, moving your body. Rolling onto your favorite side, keeping your knees into your chest and eyes closed. Helping yourself up to a comfortable seated position when you're ready. Gently, when you're in your seated position, place your hands on your thighs and close your eyes. I'll end the class with a quote. Non-violence means avoiding not only external physical violence, but also internal violence. You not only refuse to shoot a man, but you refuse to hate him. And that was from Martin Luther King. Gently opening your eyes, a little smile to yourself for having that time to respect your body and move, this awesome vessel that carries us through life every day. So honour that. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I hope it was a nice intro to your weekend. And yeah, see if you can catch yourself with Ahimsa. I know I do all the time, whether it's talking about yourself or other people, and see if you can be a bit kinder to yourself and others for the rest of the weekend or the rest of your life, your choice.